Hello, my people. I hope you're having a productive day today. It's raining out here in the DMV, so I just wanted to shoot this quick video about downtime while I'm waiting on some tools at the lawnmower shop to get serviced up and fixed up. Because when it's raining, there's certain things we got to do to get ready for the next day. You know what I mean? So. For those of you who don't understand what the downtime is time being lost while not being productive. Whether that's a crew member running late for work, whether that's spending minutes in traffic, whether that's a crew member lagging on the job, whether that's making unexpected runs while you're trying to get your daily tasks done. And one thing that worked well for me was, and I kind of live by this, I can get done more with less. 2 to 3 man crews work more efficiently for me because you develop a chemistry, you develop a system that you work by, and everybody has their scheduled tasks that they're doing for that day. If you got, throw a fourth man in the mix, sometimes it has a tendency to throw the chemistry off. So if you allotted a job for 3 men to do, and you throw a fourth man in and saying, hey, I can get 3 or 4 more weekly and bi-weeklies done if I add this fourth man to the mix. But one thing that I found out, and another thing that happened to me, was the amount of time that I spent, that I allotted for the 3 men to do, I wind up spending the same amount of time with the fourth man, because with the fourth man, everybody's trying to shift the work on somebody else. They're waiting to see if somebody's going to do this. Somebody's lagging behind because they feel like they got fresh legs out there and they only out there for, a day or 2 or something like that. So instead of, wasting the money for the fourth man, one thing that I'll do is, if I got a job for 2 men, I'll just let them 2 men do the job. If I got a job for 3 men, I would just let those 3 men do the job. To save from having to rush through this job to try to get to this job, because once I do that, all my quality is out the window, and 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna have to come back and redo some stuff that was missed or wasn't done properly. And one thing I pride myself on is not having to come back to do anything. The job must be right before we leave there. Okay. And another thing is, like, on rainy days, I use rainy days to do estimates. I use rainy days to make dump runs, run to the lawnmower shop, try to get certain things serviced, put things in the shop that may need to be fixed, return calls, anything that I can do to alleviate myself for when it's time to crank back up when the weather breaks. I do. And another thing is, I like to schedule all of my jobs on a Monday or Tuesday, and allot my weekly and bi-weekly lawn maintenance customers to a maybe Tuesday to Friday or Wednesday to Saturday. Just in case if we get some rain, I don't want to have this big job for Saturday, knowing within this workforce that certain employees won't show up on a Saturday because of the Friday nights, or quote unquote they had certain things to do or things of that nature. So I can, if I schedule my maintenance on a Saturday and one of my crew members don't show up, I can be like, hey, well, 2 of y'all showed up. I allotted money for this 3-man to come anyway, this 3rd man to come anyway. So what I'll do is, for Saturday, I'll have your Saturday's pay for you. But if you all finish what the 3 men were supposed to do, I will allow you all to split the 3rd man's pay. So if the 3rd man was getting $100 a day, the other 2 guys were getting $100 a day, and they're splitting the 3rd man's pay, they'll be like, hey, so that'll be, versus them getting 100 for the day, they'll be getting 150 a piece a day. And which is, that's good money for the day. So, and it gives them a little bit more incentive, and it gives them a little bit motivation to get the work done for that day, so you won't be behind the 8 ball. You won't, because one thing we notice when we get behind the 8 ball, it's hard for us to dig out. It's hard for us to dig out, and it's hard for us to get back on that even keel. And I also do that, during the week. So if, one of my, employees, don't show up, or they called out because of certain things or however it may be, and the 2 men showed up, I'm like, hey, well, X, Y, and Z didn't show up today, so you all can go ahead and split his pay for the day. Your day's pay will go on your check, but I will have the 3rd man's pay for y'all to split in the evening time if you all get everything done. But if you don't get everything done, and it's up to par and it's up to standard, then you'll just get your regular pay on your check. But that gives them a little incentive, to have, a little bit extra, cash in their pocket. But, if it takes them an extra 2 or hour, 2 or 3 to finish, that, I think it's well worth it, for them to get, the extra 50 for the day. I think it's, and it worked out, and it works out well for me to do that. Another thing for me is load up time. I like to get on the jobs at 7 in the morning. So anything I can do in the evenings when I come in, whether it's taking certain tools off, putting them up, putting certain tools on we're going to need for the next day, going over the schedule that we have for the next day with the guys, is a plus, because in the mornings I just want to get up, get to the truck, warm it up, we push off, gas up, so they can get their energy drinks, they can get their coffee, get something to eat, make last minute bathroom runs, and then we head straight to the job site. Because one thing I realized was, if I gassed up in the evening time, I still was going to, have to make that morning run anyway, because they're going to need their, coffee, something to drink, eat, things of that nature. So I said, well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and just make that one trip do for all. And we'll do it, that way. So when everything's loaded up in the morning, we can just, head out, do what we got to do, and keep it pushing. I like to get started at 7 in the morning, because you never know when things are going to happen. You never know if you're going to run into that unexpected traffic where you're going to have to, make detours. I mean, you just don't know. And by me getting started that early within the summer months, it's, it's allowing me to be able to beat the heat. So if I get started on the first job at 7 in the morning, I'm trying to clock out by 2:30, 3 o'clock. Sometimes things happen, some things come about, and sometimes we don't get off, until about 5:30 or however it may be. But for the majority of the times, I'm trying to be off by 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30 at the latest, and come in, get ready for the next day, and then we're going home and enjoy the rest of the day. And I know in the summer months, or in the springtime, or however it may be, when we get in that rain and that grass jumping, or we're getting them 100-degree days and stuff like that, and just be mentally drained and, or physically, beat up for the day, and you don't feel like dealing with that. You just want to hop in and go and this and that, or however it may be. And I totally understand that. But, sometimes, as, entrepreneurs and stuff like that, we got to suck it up, and we got to be like, hey, well, let me just take this extra 30 minutes just to go over what we got to do for the next day, and get ourselves geared up, so when we come in the next morning, we can just, go. Another thing is travel time. I try to do route density often, because one thing I don't want to do is hit the Beltway and do 7 properties, and then come back down the Beltway, do 5 properties, and then later in the week I'm going back to the same area and do 8. I don't want to do that. I want to schedule everything that I have to do in that certain area for that day. That way I'm being more productive, burning less gas, and things of that nature. Sometimes what I do is, if we're working in a vicinity where some of the crew members are, I'll be like, hey, we got to work in this area. So what I'll do is, so we can gain a little time, what I'll do is I'll swing by, I'll pick you up, and we'll head straight to the job site. Then once we finish, I'll drop you all off. Then I'll come in and back in and lock everything up, because if I do that, the next day I will schedule what we had in the truck for that day. I will schedule it for tomorrow. That way, if I'm coming in, I can just back in, lock everything up, go in, do my paperwork, and return calls, enjoy the rest of the evening with my family. Because one thing you don't want to do is load up by yourself and do this by yourself. That's a quick thing for burnout factor. And that's why, to go back to the 2 or 3 man crews, that's one reason why I do not promote, 1 man crews, because trying to do paperwork, estimates, dump runs, trying to, perform all these tasks by yourself is an instant burnout factor. It's an instant burnout factor. And if something happens to you and you can't get on the job and you can't do certain things because, you're a 1 man wrecking crew, 9 times out of 10, they're going to wind up going with somebody else, because you called in and saying you're not going to be there for that week. So which means properties are not going to get done for that week, and they're going to call somebody to come do it. And if they like their work better than your work, or if you got a sub or a friend to come help you out, they like their work better than your work, you're going to have some type of issues, or however it may be. So getting back to the load up time, do everything, the travel time, do everything within the same vicinity. If I go pick them up, all I do is just tell them, hey, it's gonna be gas for me to drop you up and pick you off. It's gonna be gas for me to drop you off and pick you up. So whatever gas is in your area, $7.50 is good for me. I'll pick them up, I'll drop them off, or however it may be. If it's 2 guys, that's $15. If it's, 1 guy, that's $7.50. So to drop them off, pick them up, or however it may be. But that's not a everyday thing. That's not a reoccurring thing. It happens, once in a while, or however it may be. Okay, so these are, things that really, work for me. And another thing that helps with production is, you know, I give praise where praise is due. I'll tell, you know, the employees, hey, you know, you did a bang up job. That's the way you're supposed to do the job. You know, I'm real proud of you. Hey, man, you know, da 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 da. And hey, this is on me today. Go ahead, do your thing, this and that or whatever. But if it's not up to par and it ain't going the way you plan for it to go, then hey, you got to tell it like it is. Sometimes they'll like it, sometimes they ain't gonna like it. If they're a good crew member, they'll take the criticism to make them better. All right, so I hope this worked for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If there's anything that I left out that you want to add to this, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to give it that big thumbs up, okay? All right, this is Raglan coming from Next Generation Landscaping. Keep persevering by any means necessary. All right, people, and if you're not having a great day, make it a great day. All right, see you next time. See you later.